7, we were told you don't have music phones. Okay, so that was the next big thing. Again, now today there's no debate. I think, see, in an innovative market like cell phones, if there are 10 innovations which come out, a company like Nokia might get 6 to 7 right. You'll always miss 1 or 2. But when you catch up and when you do it in a Nokia way, then you regain lost ground very, very quickly, which is what's happened to us even in, let's take the last few weeks or months.
Okay.
So the cell phone industry is one where you'll always be challenged every day.
Okay. And you said your 6300
proved once and for all.
The N series proved
again.
So when you come back after the break, we'll talk about the iPhone killer from Nokia. Right? After the next short break. Stay right there. Welcome back. We're with D. Shivakumar of Nokia, the country head of Nokia. We're talking about the challenges the company faces and the tremendous opportunity he sees in the Indian market. We were just talking before the break, Shiv, that you've always managed to meet the challenges with your innovations. Today, you face very sophisticated challenges, as I said, on the top end, the iPhone, the BlackBerry. Where are your killers coming from?
Yeah, so we have a great product in N8, which we've announced already, which is due out for release in a few weeks or whenever it comes out. I think it's a great product. It's a large screen product. It's got amazing touch capacity. It's got amazing convergence capabilities in that phone. I think it will be a big product for India. One of the unique things about India is, in the urban market, you're seeing penetration virtually saturating. Okay, so there's nothing left in terms of new users.
Okay.
But the replacement is kicking in very, very fast. And a lot of people who are coming into replacement are looking at higher technology and higher features like video, like email and things like that. And what the Indian consumer truly wants is a combined product and not carrying a phone for email, a phone for music, a phone for something else. It doesn't want that.
Okay.
Okay. And that's where I think Nokia's unique understanding of this market and being able to craft these solutions for the consumer is our winning formula.
So in other words, you're saying a phone that will be both a BlackBerry and an iPhone.
I won't say that. I say we have a very good phone.
Okay. Which is the more important market for you, the urban market or the rural market, where you have about 25 to 30% of your revenues coming in from now? Which is going to be the larger growth market for you?
So if you look at our subscriber base in the country, I think at the end of last month, India, we are saying that we have a subscriber base of about 672 million or so, which means you still have at least another 200, 300 million subscribers to go. Where will they come from? They'll come from rural markets, definitely. There's no doubt on that. Okay. At 672 million, we are the second largest market globally after China, and we are the fastest growing market at net adds of 10 million plus every month. Of the 200 million, if you look at it, a bulk of that is women. Okay, so we needed a business model to attack women in terms of innovation. So we combined forces with a microfinance institute, with an operator like Airtel, and we've gone and offered women a phone at 70 rupees a week, so that over 26 weeks, the woman owns the phone, because she doesn't want to put a down payment of 1,000 or 2,000 rupees one time. So that's a unique business model which we've done for rural.
So it's largely partnerships, and even if the phone becomes a commodity, your offerings will make it unique.
In fact, let me say, the phone will never be a commodity in India.
Oh, right.
Never, ever.
Okay.
Okay, number one.
Right.
And the future, you are right to point out. The future.
Nothing with the, because, I call it a commodity because you have a number of handsets being made brandless from China and they're being branded here. So in a sense, it's already become a commodity.
I wouldn't say that. I think because prices drop in cell phones, people think that it becomes a commodity. No.
Okay.
In fact, the personality value of a mobile phone is immense in a country like India. So let's start. I think as you go into the future, you have the operator, one part, and part of a partnership. You have the handset manufacturer like Nokia. Then you'll have the content owner. It could be movies, it could be music, it could be education, it could be anything, it could be health. And then you have the application developer. I think the system is becoming much more open and much less proprietary in nature.
Okay.
And people who understand that mindset to say, how do I combine forces? How do I build an ecosystem where everybody profits in this ecosystem rather than building silos or walled gardens? That kind of mentality is what will work in the telecom sector.
Let's just talk, continue to talk. Will entertainment always be the big driver here, or because live tools, for instance, is something that not just entertainment, it's something that will be useful to farmers, etc. Has that taken off? Because let me just quote the Knowledge at Wharton, which quoted a IDEA spokesperson was saying that it is yet to get traction. It's still to become a USP. Very useful, but nobody goes and buys something because of it has a life to it. Or do you see it happening slowly?
Okay, that's a good point. When the person was quoted, at that point of time, we only had one operator on board.
Okay.
As we speak now, we have 5 operators on board, and we already have millions of users of Nokia Life Tools or OV Life Tools. And how that works is, one is awareness. Second is you need a great device. And that's why I say devices will never be commodity. When you have a great device, then the service and the application follow the great device. Okay, so I think that's the chain of, let's take evaluation for the consumer. So entertainment will be big in India because we have amazing content.
Finally, Shiv, let me just get your view, the whole thing on the whole issue of banning technology and security grounds. I can completely understand where the government is coming from. But what is the solution that can address legitimate security concerns and also address legitimate issues of privacy, of the sheer not pushing back development by many years? Because you really can't ban something, technology, and ask people to step backwards.
Okay, I think there are 3 parts to this sensitive topic. First is the government. If you look at it from the government point of view, I think security in today's world is very important. We've seen what happens when you don't have proper security controls. So I think every government across the world, I think, has a view on security. Maybe governments like India are saying, look, we want to implement our philosophy also, which is fine. So what they're doing, it's not an ideology which is wrong. It's a correct ideology. That's one. Second, as you rightly mentioned, is the individual privacy. Every consumer thinks, I want my phone, I want the messages I send on it, I want everything to be private. So there's the individual privacy. And where does the government or the state step in and where does the individual step out is always a perennial matter of debate. A third one which has not been put at the table by a number of people is the IPR for a company like Nokia or a company, anybody else who's doing it. Because we are technology companies investing 10-15% of our top line in R&D. There's a certain IPR we own. Okay, now what happens when that is given out? Because that's the worry which a number of firms have.
Okay.
So balancing that, all the 3, is actually a very delicate act.
Do you have a solution?
I don't know. From Nokia point, it's very clear. We have been dialoguing with the government. We are very clear that we will put up our servers here. We are putting up the local servers. As of 5th November of this year, we'll have the local servers here.
Is that the only solution?
I think that's the best solution, which the government is accepting. And I think it's a win-win for all 3, okay, between the government, the individual, as well as Nokia. So on 5th November, you'll not have any issues with Nokia. So we've cooperated completely with the government over the last 6 months. We have an answer which meets the government's requirements. Okay, if you want to operate in a country like India or any place, I think you also need to respect the local rules and the...
Okay. Finally, when will Nokia India outsell Nokia China?
I don't think that's a fair question. I think we have...
No, it's really, I'm asking you to take a call on both the countries, actually.
No, I would say Nokia China is a great company. It's got a great business going there. Nokia India is a great company, and everybody who's worked here has done a tremendous job for building this brand and this company. I think we have enormous opportunities, not just in devices, but in services, in applications, etc., to make a genuine difference to the average human being in India. We can make a big difference. If you go back over the last 15 years that mobility has been there, 10 years of these 15 years, India has grown at 7.2% growth in GDP. I believe at least 1 to 1.5% of that has come because of mobility. And the next 10 years, India is expected to grow at 9%. And I'm guessing now, a bulk of that again will come from mobility. So from being a completely, off the mainstream technology, it's become the mainstream technology. Yeah. And I think Nokia's contribution to the average Indian has been immense, and that respect and trust which we have from the Indian consumer is what keeps us going, and not whether we overtake China or somebody else.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.